He's alive! Alive!
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
Hi, welcome to the Venture Movie Club. My name's Charlie.
My name's Ben.
And in this episode, we are talking about Weird Science.
From 1985, starring Kelly LeBrock from Woman in Red, Hard to Kill, Wrongfully Accused, Anthony Michael Hall from The Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, National Lampoon's Vacation, Ian Mitchell-Smith from Superboy, The Wildlife and the Chocolate War, Robert Downey Jr. from Iron Man, The Avengers, Oppenheimer, Bill Paxton from Titanic, Tombstone, Terminator, Aliens, True Lies, and Robert Russler from Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Vamp and Shag.
And also, Susan Snyder plays Deb. She was in Killer Clowns from Outer Space and Return of the Living Dead 2. Judy Aronson played Hilly, was in Friday the 13th, final chapter, 84, so it obviously wasn't the final chapter. American Ninja, so they're both sort of like in... you can see those are the kind of girls they'd stick in horror films anyway. They're the two girls who...
the two love interests.
Yeah. Michael Berryman plays one of the mutant bikers. He's most famous for being in The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah, I remember from the poster of that.
Yeah.
He's on the poster. He's got a really unusual face.
Very distinctive, bald head. He's also in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. You've got John Capellos. He's the candy bartender, when they go to the bar.
Okay.
He's in Shape of Water, The Shadow, and he's in Breakfast Club.
Oh, he must be the janitor then.
He's the janitor in Breakfast Club.
He says, 7 people in Breakfast Club?
Kim Malin is the girl who has her clothes ripped off and sucked up a chimney.
Right, okay. You don't really... That's all you see, isn't it?
I thought I'd look it up anyway.
Yeah, I thought you would.
She was Playboy Playmate of the Month in May 82. She was also in Die Hard, Roadhouse, and she now manages a paediatrician's office in upstate New York.
Okay.
Joyce Mandel, she's a woman in the bar. She was in Linda Lovelace for President, Fabulous Fanny.
What? What, porno films?
Well, I guess. She sadly died in 2016 of pancreatic cancer, age 66.
Who's she in this?
She's just a woman in the bar. She's the woman that... No one there in the bar, and there's a woman there as well.
Okay.
Bill Paxton also sadly died in 2017, age 61. He had heart surgery and then immediately afterwards suffered a stroke.
Straight after the surgery?
While in the hospital, yeah.
So did he come out of the surgery or did he die?
No, I think... I'm not sure. I think he might have, but it was like almost instant.
He was in some brilliant films, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, he's amazing. You know what? A funny fact about him? He's the only actor to have been killed by a Terminator, one of the aliens, and a Predator. He's been killed by all of them. So, which I think is quite a good little thing to have, because he gets killed by Arnie in the first Terminator. He's one of the punks who pulls a knife on him. In Aliens, of course, he gets pulled in the floor. And in Predator 2, he's on the train when the Predator comes up and kills him.
Okay.
Yeah. Kelly LeBrock, who, as you mentioned, was in Woman in Red. When she lost her father, Gene Wilder actually became her surrogate father. And they remained close friends until his death in 2016. 2016, of course, being the year when everyone died.
Yeah, that was that really mad year, wasn't it?
Including, I just realised that Joyce Mandel, who I mentioned just now, died in 2016.
But yeah, everyone died in 2016. That was George Michael, Prince, David Bowie, everyone.
Ian Mitchell-Smith, like as you mentioned, is one of the boys in it. Obviously, he didn't have much of a career after that, but he retired, and as of January 2020, he is an associate professor in the English department at California State University.
Didn't he join a band at some point?
No.
It isn't the same bloke, is it?
George used to say that.
Yeah, someone said, it's him, and I remember looking, going...
I think it's just because the voice, because he's got a voice which sounds...
Yeah, someone said, no, that's him out of Weird Science. So I looked and I thought, it don't look nothing like him.
No, it's not. He became a professor of history at Texas A&M University as well. So he really sort of turned on... he didn't want to be an actor anymore. No. In fact, most of the time, up until recently, he didn't even have his photo taken. He never went to conventions. He never told anyone about that he was in this film.
I did see like a reunion thing a few years back with Kelly LeBrock, him and Anthony Michael Hall. Not so long ago. I'd say about maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah, I think within the last few years, he's done one or two things. I think he was in that program that Rosie likes, the 80s program, Goldberg's, was it?
Oh,
I think he might have been in an episode of that. Each episode they sort of based on a film, and there was an episode that was based on Weird Science, and they had him in it. So anyway, back onto the film, Weird Science.
Yes.
Why did you pick Weird Science?
Well, it's a classic, isn't it? Classic 80s film. I've always loved Weird Science.
And it's one of John Hughes' first ones, isn't it? It's one of his earliest ones.
I don't think so.
Well, it was
It's
before
like
Breakfast
85.
Club, before...
Yeah, but it's 85. Breakfast Club was 84.
This was
16
after-
Candles was 83.
I'm
Yeah.
having that.
Yeah, this is after. After Breakfast Club and after 16 Candles.
For some reason, I always thought this was before.
No, 84 Breakfast Club, 83 16 Candles. This is 85. He sort of, like every year, he was doing another film.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Hughes wrote these scripts in 2 days for this film.
It's a very quick film.
Yeah.
It's like...
It's fun film.
Yeah.
It is, like, I mean, even till today, I mean, I was talking to some mates in work about it, and they just sort of go, oh, do you remember this bit? And, like, there was this, yeah, but the bit with the piano, the bit with the girl in the piano, the bit with the punks turn up, the bit when he turns into the big pile of shit kind of thing, you know, like there's...
Big Toad.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, there's loads of...
funny little quirky bits.
Yeah, great. It's so... You can't take the film seriously.
No.
Like, from the beginning, like, how they create her.
But I don't think you're supposed to. It's just a fun film.
But like when people go, oh, well, you can't look at the computers back then. You go, all right, well, it was just having fun.
You
anyway.
can't really make a woman on a computer, so basically that's...
Yeah, and like a dog suddenly on the ceiling in someone's kitchen. It was just like, I think it was John Hughes having a lot of fun thinking, I'm just going to... Anything crazy he could think of, he done in this film. And I love the opening titles, like how it all looks electric each time each name comes up. And it's got the Weird Science song. Yeah, sung by Oingo Boingo.
I don't know.
Weird Science, Oingo Boingo, written by Danny Elfman.
Yes,
who was the lead? He wrote the song.
Oh, did he write it? I didn't know. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know if he'd just done the score for the film.
No, he wrote this song for the film. He didn't do the score. He wrote this song for it, and that's another connection with him and Anthony Michael Hall, because Anthony Michael Hall was in Edward Scissorhands, which of course was scored by Danny Elfman. Yeah. So they've worked together a couple of times. Yeah. It was followed by or remade as a TV series from 94 to 98, 88 episodes, starring Vanessa Angel as Lisa.
Never heard of it. It's probably maybe American.
Yes.
It was American.
Well, it ran for 4 years.
I don't know if they might not have showed it over here. That's what I'm saying. If it was on American TV, unless it was really successful, it might not have... Yeah, I can't remember it being shown over here.
See, Lily really likes this film.
Does she?
Like loads of people...
A lot of youngsters like the 80s. They've revisited the 80s. I think we've seen Stranger Things. So how long ago was Stranger Things? 10 years ago? At start?
Wow, maybe. Yeah, I think they do the final series this year.
Actually, no, it ain't 10. It can't be 10 years. About 6-7 years ago, I'd say.
Maybe more. It takes them a while to make the series. It takes them like a couple of years each time.
Right, so it's a few years ago. So that's sort of basically, since then, there's been this massive sort of 80s like revival all over the place.
Yeah, because I remember in the 90s people used to sort of look down at the 80s.
Slag the 80s off.
Which I never could because I liked it too much.
Yeah,
I have so many fond memories.
But that's what I'm saying. It's only when you step outside of something you appreciate exactly how good it was. Yeah. Like if you look back at the 80s, I just remember it being colourful and fun and just... I mean, okay, every decade has got their dark sides and all that, but really, on the whole, if you look, it was just very colourful decade, very upbeat kind of music, really sort of catchy and sort of you could sing along to, dance along to. It was a happy kind of.
It's very visual.
To it.
It's a very visual decade because we've like the arrival of MTV. Yeah. So everyone was experimenting with music videos and having fun. Exactly. So it's like every song that you could think of had a video associated to it. Every film would have a song associated with it. Yeah. You know, like obviously Weird Science is the song for this film. Then Breakfast Club's got Don't You Forget About Me.
Yeah. Mannequin had Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now.
Top Gun had
Take My Breath Away.
yeah.
But it was a fun decade. I mean, I'm grateful that I actually experienced it firsthand. And with the John Hughes films, I was the age that they was aimed at that time. So it was amazing. It was like, wow, this man can write for a teenager, like someone that's going through puberty and all these things going through your mind. And you know, he was an adult and he could see through like a teenager's eyes, sort of thing. And it was amazing. He was so successful with his teen films. You know, like even to this day, they are unbeatable. You know, they're classics.
They do sort of perfectly capture like these little groups of people and the characters they get so right. The weird thing about Weird Science I remember asking Lily, so she'd watched loads of John Hughes films, and when she said this was her favourite, because even though I really like this, it could be my favourite, I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about it, but it surprised me that it's her favourite, because I would have thought she would have associated more with one with like a female lead,
like 16 Candles
or Pretty in Pink, or even Breakfast Club, something like that. Whereas this is obviously two teenage boys create a woman, all tits and arse, just to sort of like, you know, and it's so crazy. It's almost beautiful. Oh, this is like a boys film. She tried showing it to her friends, and they was just like looking at her like she's weird. Yeah, and she's like, they just didn't get it. They just didn't get it.
I think a lot of with Lily, I think she's been brought up with a lot of stuff that you have shown now. You've brought her up with a lot of film from what you grew up with, and that's the reason why she sees something different in stuff to maybe what her friends do.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, I love this film. I do love this film. It's even to this day, it's still a classic. You know, it's just a fun watch.
It's really quotable as well. It's got loads of great lines. I remember for years, I didn't know the film that well, but George would always go, Gary, you told me you was combing your hair. Which is the bit where she says, your son spends ages masturbating in the bathroom. She starts crying.
Have you ever wondered how sad it is that your son's only sexual outlet is tossing off to magazines in the bathroom?
Oh, Gary! Oh, Ma, I never tossed off to anything. You told me you were combing your hair. But I was. Mom,
Gary, shut up.
I've never the water's running all day.
Look, I've never shut up.
Anything. I've never tossed off.
Shut up.
I've never tossed off. Tell your own mother.
Shut up. Shut up.
This guy deserves a party.
I mean, he's great in it for his age as well, Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah, he is.
You know, you could see why John Hughes sort of put him in so much stuff, because they're really young in this, aren't they? Yeah, I forgot how young they were, because when I was a kid watching it, I thought...
Same with Molly Ringwald. I think she was like the ages she was in the films. I mean, they probably finished working with him before they'd even hit their 20s. They was probably like teens, late teens, maybe 18, 17, 18, when they stopped working with him. So it's like, to have had your career, because basically, not being funny, with both Anthony Michael Hall and Molly Ringwald, their career really was with John Hughes. Because really after that, there's no iconic films that they made that stood the test of time like these John Hughes films.
I mean, yeah, granted, he was in The Dark Knight, but he plays a newsreader. He's like a small part. It's not like he carries the film. It's not like he's Batman. You know.
I mean, to be honest, they did. They was peaks at these 80s films. Don't get me wrong, they're both still working, they're both still relevant, and I think they're both very grateful of these films now. At the time, I don't think they did, because they both wanted to break away from John Hughes, broke away from him, they sort of all fell out. But I just think that they just didn't realise exactly how important these films was at the time. They was really young, so I don't think they really.
They might have just thought. Yeah, they might.
They thought, I want to go and try this now. I want to try different things, and I don't want to keep doing the same old films.
And I think maybe at the time as well, like sometimes, you know, you're a young actor. These films are successful. Part of you's probably thinking, well, it's because of me.
Yeah.
It's because of me. And then you might also look at them and think, it's not real cinema. It's not high art. I want to make films from like the 50s and 60s, because back then that was closer to the time. It's like we might look back and go, oh, I love those thrillers from the 90s when they had like conspiracy thrillers and stuff like that. Over time, I'm sure, they look back now and think, I'll go to all the conventions. I love these films.
I bet they're so grateful now. But the thing is, they're stepping outside of something. Looking back, you can appreciate it for what it is. At the time, you don't realise these things.
Yeah. Of course, as you mentioned, Robert Downey Jr. is in this. This is one of his first ever roles. It might even be his first role. Yeah. He's only called Robert Downey in the credits on this.
Yeah, that's right.
And him and Robert Russler, who was in Elm Street 2, I think at the time of this, as they was filming, I'm sure Robert Downey drove Robert Russler to his...
Nightmare on Elm Street audition.
Yeah.
I wonder if he auditioned as well. Cause, I mean, if he's probably the same age, and if you're going to an audition,
might have done, but if
you might think, well, I might as well go as well. I'm the same same look and the same age as what he is. Maybe
people have done that. I'm trying to think of one
where they've gone along with their friend, and they're the one that's got the role. They're the one that's got the part. Yeah, that would piss you off, wouldn't it?
But I don't think Robert Downey would have done that. I think he's probably, because they were quite good friends on set, so he's probably gone, I can give you a lift there, it's fine, and just left it at that.
Just helping, Kelly LeBrock was originally cast as Lisa, but she was replaced after a couple of days filming.
Why?
I don't know. She obviously just they didn't.
And who's
she was also another model.
Oh, okay.
She was dating Rod Stewart, I think.
Right.
But she, obviously maybe her face just didn't fit. Maybe
they didn't want to do it.
Maybe they found Kelly LeBrock and they went, well, no, that's
I think she's great in it. I think she's fantastic because she's
so beautiful.
Yeah, she's stunning in this, and also you believe her as being intelligent and be able to sort of stand up to people the way she does, because it's a hard balance, because you try and think of a woman as attractive as her who could then sort of have this come across so intelligent as well, and so dominating of the room,
so sure of herself as well.
And I think it helps with the English accent as well.
Is she English?
She was born in America, but she grew up in England.
Right, okay. So I know she's got a very sort of well-spoken English voice in this, but I didn't know she was American.
She married Steven Seagal.
She did, and then her career sort of stops, I think.
Yeah.
She then became a mother and wife, and I think she sort of took the back seat, sort of thing. Whereas her career, she could have been like Julia Roberts or Demi Moore. That she would have been in all that, because she had the look. She was a good actress, but she sort of stopped. I think The Weird Science was probably her last sort of big film.
Really?
Her last big film. Well, she had Woman in Red, then she had Weird Science. I can't think of anything.
Woman in Red's after Weird Science,
No, it's before.
Have I got it wrong again?
Yeah. You haven't done much research, have you?
No.
Woman in Red was before Weird Science, because that was with Gene Wilder.
Oh, okay.
I was about to say Gene Kelly then. Demi Moore and Robin Wright also auditioned for the part of Lisa. You know Robin Wright, she was Forrest Gump's wife in Forrest Gump.
Robin Wright, yeah.
She's in The Princess Bride.
Yeah.
And Demi Moore from Ghost. Do you know Demi Moore?
No, who's Demi Moore?
From Indecent Proposal and Ghost.
She's out of 10.
No, that's Bo Derek. No, Demi Moore, actually.
Dudley Moore, that's it.
That's it, yeah, that's it. Did you know also Bill Paxton struggled with claustrophobia in his talking shit suit?
Oh, really? Well, so he was actually in it?
Well, yeah, and in the end, he couldn't be in it because he was getting claustrophobic, so then he had to be operated by two other smaller people.
I know he came up with that line, like when the boys are hungover and he's saying, do you want a dirty ashtray?
It goes like a greasy pork sandwich.
Yeah,
served up in a dirty ashtray. Yeah.
He said apparently his dad used to say that to him when he was hungover. In the final cut, Max and Ian, like Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Russler, are seen fleeing the party when the bikers invade. So when the bikers come in, but a follow-up scene that had been that they filmed had them engulfed in this multicoloured cloud, and they transform into a pig and a donkey.
Yeah.
Which is a bit, obviously it's weird science, but it's odd, that's what they do in weird science.
But I suppose because they didn't get no comeuppance, did they?
No.
But I suppose their comeuppance is they had their girlfriends taken off them.
Yeah, well what they done in the end, the reason they took it out is because it took away from Bill Paxton's transformation.
Yeah.
Because up till that point she hadn't really transformed anyone into anything.
Also, Anthony Michael Hall got double what Ian Mitchell Smith got, so he got 300,000. Ian Mitchell Smith got 150,000. So that'd piss you off a bit if you're both equal.
It would.
Playing the same role.
But, also Ian Mitchell Smith hadn't done as much as Anthony Michael Hall beforehand. So it's natural in films like...
That's a lot to double. I mean, he'd only done about 2 films or something before. Same age, you'd think, okay, well, maybe a little bit less.
Yeah, maybe.
But maybe not to double
I think he was, at the time, he was probably just happy that he was in the film.
Exactly, maybe. Then again, maybe, Anthony Michael Hall was quite a big name, maybe, by this point, because if he'd done Breakfast Club and 16 Candles and maybe National Lampoon's Vacation.
Yeah, and he had leading parts in both of them, and they were successful.
Yeah.
So...
He was also a big thing, wasn't he?
It was John Hughes. It was his 3rd film with him, so it was probably like a loyalty thing as well. He thinks, I'm going to make sure you get paid well for this because you always deliver. You always do really well in the films I put you in. So don't worry, you get. And what about this other guy who's acting alongside me who hasn't done half as much? Well, he'll get half as much as what you get.
Yeah.
There's still. I mean, even still, 300,000.
That was good. For back in then as well, that's really good.
And 150,000.
Yeah, it's
if someone offered me 150,000 now,
that's actually a lot, isn't it, for a film?
Yeah.
For a youngster. Yeah. It's really, really good money, even the 150.
I could make a film on that. It would be like
fantastic. That would be. Yeah. John Hughes and Anthony Michael Hall fell out during the filming of this, and they never worked together again after.
Really?
Yeah, it's during the filming
so
of this.
They'd only done the
Neither of them actually commented on exactly what happened, but it was during the filming of Weird Science. Because, as we've mentioned before, Molly Ringwald and Anthony Michael Hall were his muse. He was he'd done so much work with Molly Ringwald and also with Anthony Michael Hall. Both of them decided they didn't want to work with him no more because they wanted to do other things, and he sort of really took it in a bad way. And I think, he looked and probably thought, I made you who you are, and we had something good going on here, and I'm putting all these things out. No, but that's what I imagine. You. No, but that's what I'm saying. He probably sort of looked and thought, look, I've made you. I gave you these chances. You wouldn't be anything if it wasn't for these films that I'd put you in.
So when did he fall out with her then?
He fell out with her before Pretty in Pink because he originally wrote Pretty in Pink for her. Then he decided he didn't want to direct it and he gave it to someone else. And he refused to. He didn't want her being cast in it, even though he actually wrote the character for her.
Why?
I don't know. They all fell out. They fell out. Which is sad, really. With
kids.
He did. He fell out with them. He probably just felt let down by them.
Yeah, maybe. But
he probably felt like he'd planned. He wanted to do all these things with them and had other things, and they're both going, oh no, I don't want to do it no more. And it's like, well, maybe because they got on so well, maybe it felt like a bit of a betrayal. Maybe it's like they felt like a sort of uncle to him, sort of thing, But neither of them ever. I think they all look back now, obviously since he died. I think they might have made up before he died. I like to think that they did, but they talk of him fondly now. I mean, because. When you look back, when you're a kid, you realise it's different.
And also, once you're an adult, it's like when kids look at adults and think, "Oh, I wish I was an adult." And it's so much easier. You ain't got to answer to anyone. You ain't got to do this, but you don't realise until you get there the hardships that adulthood has. To go with it. So maybe as they grew up and they thought, actually, he done us a huge favour because he could have just recast every film. He could have had them in 16 Candles and never used them again. And different actors in Breakfast Club.
But he did actually, realistically. I mean, they're well-known names because of his films. So he had something there with them. I mean, they've not been, as I say, neither of them. I mean, he was in that new Halloween film, wasn't he? Recently,
yeah.
Halloween Kills or Halloween Ends or
both,
something.
I think he was.
But he was in one of them films or both them films.
Was he in both? No, I don't think he was in Halloween Ends. I think he was just in Halloween Kills and got killed.
What does he?
Or maybe, spoiler alert.
I can't remember. But that's what I'm saying. He's never done nothing sort of...
He's never reached... That was the height of his popularity.
That's what I'm saying. They've not gone, but he made this a couple of years later. There was nothing really big that was ever...
in Edward Scissorhands, he was the bully.
Yeah.
But again, he looked so different in Edward Scissorhands.
But he looks different now. That's what I'm saying. He looked that kind of skinny, geeky kind of...
But
Boy,
when you see him
when
in
he was
Edward
younger, he looks
Scissorhands,
different, completely different now.
when you see him in Edward Scissorhands, which was only a few years after this, he looks more like how he does now. He looked like
Oh,
he
is he
built
really?
out.
Okay.
So I reckon maybe he hit the gym or
Oh,
something
yeah,
like that.
okay,
Maybe
okay.
he didn't like being so skinny.
Yeah, the
You know?
nerd.
Yeah, but yeah. So Weird Science, in case you don't know, is the story of Gary and Wyatt, two teenage boys who create a woman called Lisa using Wyatt's computer, where she hacks into the mainframe, and then she helps them loosen up, become party animals,
Become popular.
Yeah, and
Because they're a couple of nerds, aren't they?
yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Basically, yeah, no, you've explained it pretty well, but it's a lot more to it than that. It's just a fun watch. It's just fun. It's just 80s fun. You know, it's what you expect from an 80s film. And it still holds up to this day.
Yeah.
You know, what is it, 40 odd years? Nearly 40 years ago this was made. 85, yeah. Nearly 40 years.
Wow.
So, yeah, 39 years. But also, Lisa was named after a computer program, Apple, I don't know. And also, Anthony Michael Hall blew a $100,000 take by farting.
What take was that then?
I don't know, one when you weren't supposed to fart.
I'm trying to think, because what scene would they have been in where it was something really expensive happening on screen?
Yeah, it was a $100,000 take he ruined by farting.
If they'd taken out of his wages, he'd end up getting paid the same as the other actor.
Well, yeah, just a little bit more than that, yeah.
Oh.
The budget for this was 7.5 million,
Right.
and it made 38.9 million.
That's good.
So it's not bad. And it was on IMDb, it's 6.6 out of 10. So, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes, it was 59 by the critics and 69 by the audience. Now, I would have thought that would have been higher.
I think when I watch it, I can imagine why, because it's one of those things. I watch it, I like it, but it's loads of critics, especially, they looked down on it because they thought that his other work was stronger because his other work was more about sort of relationships,
Dialogue heavy, wasn't it?
yeah, and it's more subtle. The sort of the humour and the relationship between people, and
It's more tongue-in-cheek, this one, isn't it?
When you compare like the characters in this to say the characters in Breakfast Club,
Yeah.
so the characters in Breakfast Club are so well rounded and they've got all this backstory, and you don't really know much about this. This is almost like a comic book. This film, you know, it's as close to a comic book as you can imagine. It's literally each scene, like they walk out of their room and all of a sudden they're wearing different clothes. And it's like, oh my God, I'm wearing different clothes. And she's like, right, ready, let's go down here, let's do this. Oh, and there's the other weird bit with her kissing him, that Ian
Mitchell Smith. Yeah, apparently he tried to stick his tongue in her mouth, and she went, "You do that again, I'll kick your ass." It was like, because he was getting overexcited, and she was like 24 and he was 15. So I suppose this day and age you wouldn't even have that scene now.
Well, no, this is it. I don't want to be that person who says it, but roles reversed. Imagine the film was like two 15-year-old girls make this like man, and he's going, "I'll kiss you," and it's like some 24-year-old man kissing her.
Things you got away with so much more back then. I don't know.
But even at the time, I remember thinking, it's a little bit weird because she's an adult and he's a kid. You know? But
there's a lot of things that don't sort of carry through with this generation, this decade now. Do you know what I mean? Things have changed massively. You don't realise at the time. I was just looking at stuff like through innocent eyes, really. I didn't really sort of notice a lot of stuff that's going on. It's only when you look back and you go, oh yeah, I suppose maybe that was a little bit...
That's a little bit dodgy.
Yeah.
And some of the lines that people saying, you think, oh...
Yeah, but I suppose it all depends what brain you're thinking of it from. You know, like I wasn't thinking of it in that way. I just thought, oh, it's just an innocent, fun film. But then when you look into it, it's like, oh, okay, that's a little bit weird.
I think Bill Paxton's probably my favourite in it.
Yeah.
I thought he was...
It's the first thing I remember him from.
Yeah.
This is the first thing I think I ever see him in. But then he has popped up in loads of really good films ever since then.
Well, I remember seeing him in Aliens. I've seen Aliens before I saw this, I think. But I remember as soon as I see him in this, I went, oh, it's Hudson
Brilliant
from
actor.
Aliens. And he plays such great parts.
Yeah, and also different as well. He plays so many different kinds of characters.
Yeah.
And he had a really good back catalogue. He's left a good legacy behind.
I'll tell you one where he's only got a small part in it, but one where he's really funny is in True Lies.
See, I love True Lies, but I can't remember him in it.
He is right near the beginning because Arnold Schwarzenegger is a bit paranoid about Jamie Lee Curtis, his wife. His wife doesn't know he's a spy, and Bill Paxton plays this like motor salesman who's trying to chat her up.
Right.
He's like trying to impress her. So Arnie takes out for a test drive in the car, and Bill Paxton's going, I got this really hot bird on the go, and he's laughing in his face, going, she's got an arse. He says this line, he goes, she's got an arse like a 13-year-old boy.
Weird.
And it's a really funny scene though. And then Arnie imagines punching him, but he doesn't. So he has this scene where he punches him, his head like going back. But he's only a small part in it, but it's like the highlight.
Yeah, I have to rewatch that. Maybe we'll do that one time as well.
Yeah,
I think that's quite a good
that
film.
is a good one. But yeah, no, I always enjoy Weird Science anyway, so it gave me a good excuse to watch it again.
Yeah. Oh no, it's a brilliant film. Yeah, it's one of them films that, like, even to this day, I can watch it and I ain't looking going, it's had its day now. Because there is some films that I look and go, actually, I think that's the last time I'm going to watch that. Weird Science, no.
How does it rank with amongst the other John Hughes
With my John
films?
Hughes films? Yeah, it's sort of middle. I'd say sort of middle-ish. It's not really one of my high. Breakfast Club, I think, is definitely my main go-to. It's like, that's the one I think I see that when I was 15 or 16. I was basically the age what they were supposed to be in that, and I looked and I thought that's how I feel, and that's like I could really sympathise with all these characters in it.
We
really
should
sympathise with these characters in it.
We should do one time. You do your top 10 John Hughes films. Like whether it's produced, written or directed, like John Hughes one.
Because that Pretty in Pink will still come out under as a John Hughes, and also Some Kind of Wonderful, Home Alone's,
yeah, and
Uncle Buck,
Trains,
Planes and Automobiles.
Anything that he's involved in.
Yeah, he was really good. Anything he done, he was good at. I mean, he done all the team ones, fantastic. Then he done things like Home Alone, and that how good they were. Uncle Bucks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
very good he was.
Uncle Buck.
Is it Uncle?
Not Uncle Bucks. There's only one of them.
Okay, well, I don't know.
Right, yeah. So that was Weird Science.
Yeah, so I'm glad. Well, yeah, I knew you was going to like it anyway because we've loved it from all that time. But yeah, still holds up today.
Okay.
Good film. Right. So next week then, Charles.
Right. So next week, it's taken. I've wanted to do loads of this director's films. I'm going to choose Vertigo from 1958, directed by Alfred Hitchcock.
Okay. Who's
one of my favourite directors. I had loads of box sets of Alfred Hitchcock's films, and I went through loads of them. But Vertigo, was one of the first ones I ever saw. I had it on VHS when I was a kid, and I liked it because of all how the story goes, how it doesn't stick to like a typical thing. So, and also it's nice to do an older film after
When is that? What year was that?
1958.
1958, right, okay.
So,
it's good to do some older ones.
Yeah, so Vertigo. So if you
I think I've seen it from a long time ago.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen Vertigo, watch it because, as with every episode, there'll be spoilers.
Catch us on Instagram, on TikTok, Facebook, Spotify,
YouTube.
Yeah. YouTube's the best because you've got the visuals on YouTube, haven't you?
Yeah. Unless you're listening to this on Spotify, in which case Spotify is the best.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, you haven't got to watch stuff.
Exactly. Or contact us on benchmovieclub@gmail.com. Right, thank you very much, and we will catch up with you soon. See you later.
Bye-bye.
No, I've whipped up this nasty little soiree over at his friend Wyatt's house.
What?
Soiree, honey. I think that means, party. Party.
You know, there's going to be sex, drugs, rock and roll, chips, dips, chains, whips. You know, your basic high school orgy type of thing. I mean, I'm not talking candle wax on the nipples or witchcraft or anything like that. No. Just a couple of 100 kids running around in their underwear, acting like complete animals.